We spent 13 months getting out of debt, and we almost went back into debt a year later. We were facing a big decision that could have set us back where we didn't want to be. We all make decisions every day, but are we really slowing down to understand our options, especially the big decisions that can really impact our trajectory? Let me tell you a story. Let me take you back to 2016. We had gotten out of debt, built our emergency fund up, and we were ready to have fun with our money. We had been in our house a year, and it had become painfully aware, or we had become painfully aware that we really needed something like a tractor, something that could dig up stumps, carry and drag wood from fallen trees, carry large loads of dirt, gravel, mulch. These were the tasks that we knew we needed a tool to really help us around the property. A tractor like this is really on par with purchasing a car. We weren't going into this lightly. We did our research. Well, my husband did the research. He grew up with tractors, so he knew what he was looking for in terms of horsepower and other features. And I'll never forget, I was in the nursery getting my son ready for bed, and my husband had come home from a day of shopping. He had gone around to a couple of different tractor retailers in the area, and he came home all excited that he finally had decided on the make and model of the tractor that he wanted. And I was excited because he was happy, because this was a lot of research. I mean, months. He was talking to his dad and all this other stuff. So he walked in and he had explained, the different points of the tractor and what the selling points were for him and why this was how he made his decision. And one of the main ones was how easy it was to change the implements or attachments. Like if he wanted to take off the mower deck, how easy that would be, or to switch out the bucket for some other attachment. All beyond me, guys. It's okay. I'm not from the country. He grew up in the country. I didn't. But the point is, he knew that long term, this was really a good investment because then it didn't rely on his own physical strength to make out these changes. Great. So he told me something else that he was, intrigued by was this 18 months 0% interest. He said, I really think we could have this whole thing paid off in full before any of the interest kicks in. I said, well, I didn't disagree, but I'm like, we just got out of debt. We literally paid off $26,000. Why would we go back into debt for something even more? And we had agreed that the mortgage was going to be our last debt. So were we really going to compromise on what we said we were going to do for this purchase? We had multiple conversations over the coming days. We slept on it. We prayed about it. We did all the things. And then we had decided, look, we've survived a year without a tractor. What's one more year? We talked about the risk of an emergency getting in the way of those payments. 0% interest sounds great. But we were literally just a few months past my own emergency surgery. And what if something else came up like that, where it would be so easy to say no to that payment for that 1 month and then try and get caught up later? That 0% interest sounds so great, but we talked about how they're not going to offer those things if they know that they're going to make money on it. So they're banking on things of coming up for people, and we didn't want to put ourselves in a position where we became another statistic. So we decided the risk wasn't worth it. We were going to save up the cash and purchase the tractor outright. 2 years later, we made our purchase. Yes, 2 years. We thought we could get it done in 18 months. 2 years. You're probably thinking, wait, what happened? I can't remember exactly why it took more than 18 months to get the tractor, or exactly how long we had to go to really get that cash in place before we actually made the purchase. I know that it was delayed, but I can't remember exactly why. But I do know that I'm glad we had taken the time to save up the cash, because we ended up going with a different retailer than we had initially done. We had coordinated the delivery, and let me tell you, when that John Deere tractor delivered, it was 100% ours. I wish I could say that day it was all rainbows and butterflies and we had fun driving it around, but life happened. A few hours before the tractor delivered, we were awoken in the middle of the night. Our water alarm in the basement was going off, and our basement had been flooded. We had about 2 inches of water everywhere. Cardboard boxes, everything was just soaked. It was a mess. So looking back, I am so glad we had our emergency fund in place. I am so glad we saved up the cash for that tractor separately, because it really positioned us to do the things we wanted to do while taking care of unexpected things like a basement flood. So I share this story because it's an example of healthy decision making. First, it's important to have an accountability partner. If you're married, your spouse is your accountability partner. If you're single, confide in a friend or a family member that you feel comfortable talking with. Buying a tractor was important to us, but it meant more to my husband. And having someone to talk to when you're excited about a decision, especially if it's something that you weren't planning on doing, is really helpful. I am the spender in our household, and there are times when I'm excited about something that I've been wanting to get for a while, and now all of a sudden it's available, but I don't have the money available. It's easy to go and talk to my husband now and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, let's talk through this. Sometimes we make adjustments to our spend plan, and sometimes we just say, hang on, we're going to wait till later. So we do. It's so valuable to have somebody that's not close to the decision that you can confide in for these things. The other thing that we did when we were discussing financing the tractor is we made a pros and cons list. Getting all our thoughts on paper and having a visual really reinforced for us which was the best avenue to go. When you're facing a decision like this, consider brainstorming all of your options. We didn't really do that for this purchase because we were so focused on the financing versus not financing option, but I wish we had. There's always more than two options. And I have found that with my clients, when you're brainstorming every possible avenue, even the ones that are ridiculous and know you wouldn't act on, there's still options. Put them down on paper just so you have them in front of you. The other thing that we did is we set a deadline. We gave ourselves about a week to ultimately decide what we were going to do regarding the financing option. We did the research, we made a decision. There's no such thing as a perfect decision. We all make choices with the information that we have available. Taking your time to do the research and gather information from reputable sources is enough. And so when you go to make a decision, when you're faced with a big one, particularly the ones that have a huge impact on your life, slow down, talk to your accountability partner, look at all of your options, weigh the pros and the cons for each of those options, set a deadline, do your research, and when decision day arrives, you'll be able to make that choice with confidence.